We'll begin by saying the prayer and pledge of allegiance. Christy, we'll let you say the prayer. Since you called the meeting, we'll let you. So let's all stand and we'll say the prayer and then pledge of allegiance.
Dear God, thank you for bringing us all here together today. Please watch over us and everyone in this meeting in our city and help us all come together to do what's right for our city and make sure that all of our people and our citizens end up having a good fall and our community comes together as one, and just bless our meeting. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Bill St. Milton, will you lead us?
Look at you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Since I have no idea what this meeting is about, I was completely in the dark as the rest of you. I think Bill and Christy called it, so I'm going to let you guys start the conversation and at least tell us what we're here to discuss.
Okay. It's the board appointments. Pursuant to OCGA Section 8-3-50A1, I move to appoint Laura Sisson to the Blue Ridge Housing Authority Board.
Well, I've already appointed someone today, so
Did you make a motion?
that's going to be, and we're having discussion.
Did you make a motion?
I move to appoint.
You made the motion to appoint.
Well, we're going to discuss first.
Did we not discuss after a second?
Then do we have a second?
Do we have a second? I'll
Excuse
second.
me, are you in charge
No,
of the
you
meeting?
said we need
Thank you. Okay, so we have a second, so we're now opening up to discussion, which I will begin the discussion. So if you will read that again, it says that it has to be notified by a governing body and that the mayor has 30 days to appoint. I was notified by the governing body on Saturday. They had a meeting last week, is that correct? Tanya, I believe you're
We had a
the...
meeting on Wednesday.
Yeah, and your meeting, in that meeting, you were doing that to see the direction and the direction that your attorney gave you. I do have
We
a
were discussing
transcript.
several items on the agenda.
Yeah, so the transcript, basically, let me paraphrase. I'll just read it for you.
Okay.
The transcript says, they're talking about there has been an appointment and they were waiting until the time that you guys did this to send me the official notification.
I think you got
And
a notification.
Tanya, I'm
Yeah.
speaking.
Well,
And
you
yes,
asked
and yes,
me a
I
question.
did.
You did get a
I did get a
notification.
notification and I
Yeah.
sent that in the email.
Yeah.
So, here's what your attorney said. He said, I would just recommend in this situation that you prepare a letter to the mayor and the clerk and just let them know that you have a board member that has tendered their resignation. And there is no longer serving and you would like to ask the mayor to make an appointment within 30 days of receiving this letter. Now, I don't know what your practice is in the community, but in some communities it is not required, but a lot of times your board may have recommendations or want to suggest a person or persons who y'all think might make a good fit or otherwise make a good board member. You may make the suggestion if you choose to, and then the mayor would have 30 days to make an appointment upon receipt of the communication of that letter. And if the mayor fails to appoint within 30 days, the power of appointment reverts to the city council as a whole. Now, the state law in that same, this is from your attorney, and he said that the city clerk, I confirmed with the city clerk, she did not receive a notification from Deb. I did, but Deb's resignation did not give a date. It was just an
Effective
open.
immediately is what it said.
It didn't. I have it
I
right
think
here.
it did say effective
Well,
immediately, but.
I will read it.
Yeah, sure.
Here's what the letter says. This was sent on August the 10th. Hello all, I'm very sorry that I didn't get a chance to do this in person today, as it was not my intent. I have very much enjoyed my time serving with all of you the last several years on the Blue Ridge Housing Authority Board, but it is time for me to step down. Several factors have changed my life over the last 2 years. My job takes me all over the region. I'm in the 3rd semester of my master's program, and most importantly, I have 2 new grandsons. All of these things led me to the realization that I simply cannot commit my time to the Housing Authority Board that it deserves. I wanted to see us through the new development and expansion, but I think the process also deserves someone who can be more involved and hands-on. I understand service on the board was never meant to be permanent, and it is time to step aside and have someone else join you. I treasure my time with you and all the relationships that we have formed for the betterment of our residents. Trevor, please share my thoughts with Ms. Ellen. Respectfully, Deb Cantrell. So she had no date. I spoke with her at church the following week, I believe, that following, just a couple of days later. And I said, will you reconsider? She said she had not had, she probably wouldn't, because she needed, she felt like she needed to devote her time to this, but she never gave a specific date of termination when she was going to end. So my understanding on that was that the board was going to meet, and then the meeting was canceled. So when I have spoken to other people, they said, we're going to send names to you of possible Bill Tilley, for instance. I've spoken to him several times. I would like to send you several names. So even he said, we're going to be having a meeting Wednesday, and after that, we'll be sending the letter. So Saturday morning, 2 days after the meeting, I received a letter of notification from the governing body.
So what
And it
the
was
rush
sent-
today?
And it was sent to, the governing body was sent, and I have 30 days from the time I received that. So I did it as expediently as I could. I did it this morning. So I appointed this morning within my legal time frame. And I feel like if you guys want to appoint someone, we'll end up in court over this, because I will declare, you can let the housing authority make an assumption, their attorney if they choose to, but I will take this and let a judge decide. Because I will not have my appointments usurped by people who they don't even care to call and ask me what's going on. And I'm simply waiting until I got notification from the housing authority. And when I received it, I immediately responded. I responded to Trevor and said, thank you for sending the official notification from the governing body.
If I remember correctly, I think you're responding to Deb and saying thank you and we appreciate your issue.
I certainly did. I told her, but is she a governing body? Let me give
You
you,
said you about
let
her
me give you
resignation.
let me give you the definition
Sure.
of governing body. What is a governing body? What do you think a governing body is,
Well,
Tony?
I'm waiting for you to give that.
Okay, I'll be glad to.
Is there a reason why you're
Because
board members in the audience? I mean,
attacking.
is a city council?
Actually, this is
So-
totally off of
so-
our policy.
So governing
Yeah, look at
body,
this. So
I'm in charge of
actually,
the meeting, Angie, and
You're
I am
violating the
talking.
policy.
Chuck, is
No.
that correct?
We're in discussion now. You
We
missed the
are,
first
and
part of the
Chuck
meeting.
is our attorney, he's our legal
But we're not
representative.
supposed to be
So,
in.
governing body means, in the case of the city, the council, commission, board, or alderman of the legislative body of the city, and in the case of the county, the judge of the probate court, the county commissioners, or the other legislative body. Deb is not a legislative body, and when
No,
she
she's
said that, she gave no termination as to the date she would end
Did you
her,
accept that when you acknowledged and said?
when
we'll
she
miss you?
said it.
Yeah.
So I simply contacted her and said, we will miss you, but I had no authorization. Yes, I will take questions from the audience since you were appointed today.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting.
Actually,
No, I don't,
this
Chuck, are
is
we,
a
are we out of
100% in
order? I
violation.
think so
Somebody
too.
needs to
Are
adjourn
we
the
out of
meeting.
order?
No, all right.
Then fine, adjourn the
I mean,
meeting.
we can adjourn the meeting and we can take this up at another time if we need to, but we're gonna follow our policy.
Okay, let's adjourn the meeting.
Chuck,
No, let's do
Adjourn it.
what we come to do. If somebody wants to
Mr.
make a
Conrad,
we've
motion.
had a motion and a second.
someone-
There has been a motion and a second.
But we're in discussion.
Okay, well,
Can Mr. Coney speak?
then
Yes.
whatever the council wants to do then.
Yes.
Our policy is that questions from the floor are supposed to be directed to the body, right? So if someone in the audience has a question or something, it's supposed to be directed to the mayor, and then the mayor will recognize someone to respond to it. At the same time, the mayor is the presiding officer over the meeting. And I
Understood.
think the mayor is within her right to ask questions of people if she chooses to do so. I would also say the same thing about the council. I think it's better practice, to have questions directed to the body and then a response done. But I don't think there's anything that prohibits elected officials from asking people, in the audience
I
for
think we
input.
need to get the policy, because I'm pretty sure that, I thought there was no communication, it wasn't a question answered or debate that everybody had at the end, they could comment at the end.
I think that's more directed from the people that are attending the meeting as opposed to the elected officials. I mean, in your role as an elected official, you have the right to gather and collect input.
Okay.
I think it's intended to present people from just firing questions
Okay,
at you guys
okay,
from
okay.
the audience.
Okay.
In
That's
other
why
words,
We
I
have a
did-
right to communicate
Okay.
with you, am I correct, Chuck?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But you're
So
saying
this
we can't,
statute that
we
Bill-
can't communicate though with the, we can't communicate with the audience?
The mayor,
No.
if there is, like he said, if there is someone, and I would like to ask a direct question, I can ask them, they can direct the question through me,
Okay.
or their comment.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Chuck. This statute that Bill quoted, is it within our purview at this point to appoint somebody to this board?
And I'm going to answer the question this way.
Please do.
All right, the statute reads that the mayor has 30 days to make the appointment. If the mayor does not make the appointment within 30 days, then the council may make an appointment.
Okay,
It doesn't say that the council shall make an appointment, and it doesn't say that the mayor is stripped of her authority to make the appointment. It just allows the council to make an appointment if the mayor hasn't done so. The statute is silent as to what happens in a situation where 30 days have elapsed, but the mayor has made an appointment. At the end of the day, and I think everyone who has asked me this, I think I have said the same thing to them. I hope so anyway, and that is, it's not my call to make. I don't represent the Blue Ridge Housing Authority. They're not my client. And so whatever I say about that issue is not binding on them. As I understand it, the mayor has made an appointment. As I understand it, the council is prepared to make an appointment.
correct.
As a practical matter, I think one of a couple of things will happen. At the next housing authority meeting, the two appointments will show up expecting to take the seat. Now, what happens if that occurs? You know, I guess they'll do what you guys do with me. They'll look to the attorney and say, okay, who takes the seat? The other thing that could happen if I were representing the housing authority in a situation like that, you might want to be more proactive and just say, you know what, let's just file a declaratory judgment action and let's let a judge decide, you know, who, as a practical matter, who takes the seat. So I don't know what will happen. You know, I have
But I'm asking,
represented.
the question is, we have the right to make this appointment tonight.
There is nothing prohibiting you guys
Okay.
from
Even
making
though
an
I have-
appointment.
Let me ask a question also, just what we
But I'm
talked
not,
about.
but by saying that, I'm not saying, you know, who wins on that issue. I'm not-
Nobody's asking
I'm not-
you
I
to.
know, I'm not
All I
calling-
wanna know, Chuck, is under the law, as city council, is it under our purview at this point for us to make this nomination?
I'm not aware of anything that prohibits you from doing it.
Besides the fact that I have already appointed, though, that could be a huge issue.
It could be a
Yeah.
huge issue.
So let me ask you the other question that we talked about. Statute says you have 30 days. Let's just say that the 30 days did start when Deb sent her official notification, or her notice without any other information. It wasn't sent to the city clerk. It wasn't sent from the governing body. So we see where we have problems already. It wasn't sent from the governing body, it wasn't sent to the city clerk. Even with that, I have 30 days that the city, that she made, but they may appoint. Well, I appointed first this morning. So I appointed before they did. So how can they make an appointment when I've already made it? Because the law does not say that I can't appoint after the 30 days. It said they may. But I appointed this morning. So how can you reasonably deny that? Any judge would have to say, you've done it outside, you don't have, just because you didn't do it in that 30 days, doesn't mean you can't do it day 31.
Nobody's arguing that point, I don't think.
I
I
mean,
think we have a motion and a
Well-
second on the floor
I
to
think
make
so,
this appointment, and I
Because
believe
you've already
Chuck.
made an appointment.
I'm talking now, Mayor,
We've
excuse
already
me.
made an
I'm
appointment.
speaking now, Mayor.
Then go right ahead, Jack.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a motion and a second. You've told us there's nothing that stops us from doing this appointment. So as a council, we need to decide if we're gonna appoint.
There's,
I want to make sure I'm clear. There's nothing that I'm aware of that prevents you from making an appointment. That doesn't, it's not meant to say what the legal
I
effect of
understand
making
that.
that appointment is.
I understand.
So I just want to be clear on that.
We're not breaking the law making this appointment.
you're not, but it will end up in court for a judge to decide. And is it really worth going to court over a judge to decide when I made the appointment this morning?
I didn't make a
When I did
motion.
not receive official
Please do not.
notification until Saturday. I have 30 days to make an appointment. But, and I have no idea what you guys are meeting about tonight because you didn't disclose anything. It said board appointments. I had no idea. So,
I believe we,
Would you call on me, please?
yes, Donna,
Again?
as you are the appointee, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me the consideration. You know, this is really interesting to me, and I would like to just establish a timeline for the council in case you guys are unaware of this, including the board members who are here from the Housing Authority. First of all, I received a call from the mayor on August the 15th, around 5 p.m.-ish. She called to tell me that it was likely there was going to be an opening on the Housing Authority board, and that she would like to consider me because of my involvement with following the Searles Foundation, the Housing Authority, and also the city government. Then I was contacted by a board member on August 20th. He asked to set up a time to call me by telephone. He did that on August the 21st. He told me that he would like to have me on the Housing Authority, that they were likely going to have an opening with that. He didn't give me any detail behind that. We chatted for a few minutes. He told me that he would like to, I guess, recommend me or whatever, and that he would get back with me. So that's August 15th and August 21st. I was told today that Tanya Newley, the board chair of the Housing Authority, had sent an email to the city council with support of me today. Did that happen? I don't know. But that was told to me by a board member. So all of that said,
did you send an email?
To the city council in support of you?
Actually, Donna's speaking now, so we will let her speak, Jack.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't.
Actually,
recall
Tanya,
seeing-
she's speaking.
She made a comment about me, Rhonda. I have the opportunity.
well, y'all have been making comments too that
Go ahead and
impact
finish,
me.
Donna.
So
You're fine.
here's the thing, the one thing that I did look up was I looked up Georgia code. I am not an attorney, but I can tell you that I would probably push this one from a legal standpoint too. I didn't know that I was gonna have to have my attorney here with me tonight, but he's a phone call away. So if you're gonna take the appointment that she gave, you know, and like I said, she contacted me on the 15th, Bill Tilley contacted me on the 21st. If you're gonna take that appointment away and make something in lieu of what she's already done, then, you know,
And let me
Yes, so we're
say,
in.
she did agree to do it when I called her, I asked
Yeah.
her, and she agreed. And so, I didn't swear her in them, but she agreed. I made my appointment by phone, which would be yet another reason that it would be ridiculous to try to appoint someone else. So,
Why are we still going through the motions of Traver getting a list and interviewing other candidates when
good
this
question.
has all happened?
Good question, because no one, you guys had not talked to me, so,
I believe
Yeah.
Traver
May I
needs an
finish my
opportunity
time,
to answer
please?
that question.
yeah. Traver, I believe, from what I understand, was waiting on you guys, and that's what Bill Tilley said as well.
We
Well, have
had
your meeting.
several people that, Donna had a couple that she was going to nominate, Bill Tilley had one that he was going to nominate, I was going to refrain from nominating.
Then why didn't anyone?
We were supposed to meet next week according to his
And then,
text on
and then you were gonna
Friday.
meet next week, and that's when you were gonna send the official notification to me with, so you expected me to, if you were gonna send those to me last week, let me
This
finish.
is what Traver said,
Let
not
me
what I
finish.
said, so you might want to address
So
it to
if you
Traver.
were going to do that last week, and y'all were gonna give all those names, and then if I would have gone by Deb's official email to me, then I would have missed the 30 days anyway.
You
So
already
what?
had missed the
So
30
what
days, so-
good, what does it do? So why were y'all meeting to discuss the next
I said
step?
Traver's the one who
Send it
sent that
then.
out. I didn't send that out.
Yeah.
We just found out on Wednesday that you had missed the 30-day deadline, and according to the Housing Authority attorney, the city council then had every opportunity and
No,
right.
that's,
authority.
I have the whole transcript
Okay,
right
but-
here. That's not what he said.
Now, is that an
That's-
email from the
That's
attorney?
not, that is not what he
Is that an
said.
email from our attorney?
This is your transcript from your meeting,
Interesting.
total transcript. Yeah,
Didn't Donna still have the floor? 'Cause
yes. Thank you, Bill.
The other thing that I would like to bring up here is that this is so convoluted and cloudy with what's going on. And I will voice a concern now that we have a councilman that was at the Housing Authority meeting. He actually directed the ward chair to call for a motion on the Searles Foundation.
He interjected after I had made.
No, he
asked
had
for
not.
motion. Yes, he did.
No, he doesn't have a right to speak there as a
You're
councilman.
correct. You are correct.
Okay, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them.
But you're talking about
So
something
Tanya,
directly
you need,
relates to
Tanya,
them.
you need to let people take the floor. This is an official meeting, so.
I checked with the city this past week to see if, you know, I'm not sure if I'm gonna phrase this right, if there were any like mandatory or required assignments of city council members to boards. And the only one that was responded was the DDA, which we have a council member on the DDA, but no other boards did they acknowledge that there's a member there. But Councilman Taylor holds a presence there in that meeting, and I'd heard this from the previous meeting, but he holds a presence there in that meeting in giving direction. Like I said, it's very convoluted. The other thing that I came up, and this actually came from their attorney. Their attorney said, and this was in regard to the Searles Foundation, but it fits with this, that the Code of Federal Regulations expressly prohibits city officials and their immediate family from having any contractual interest or financial interest or subcontract anyway. So if the Searles had not responded or would not commit, neither the mayor or whoever the Hates are, because they were attacking the Hates with rumors that they had some kind of involvement with the Searles Foundation, and they were trying to put that rumor to rest, that they couldn't participate in any event. So the Housing Authority receives federal funds, which puts them in some type of either contractual or financial agreement with the federal government. So if the mayor or the Hates could not participate in the Searles Foundation, then how do we have a board chair and a council member who are engaged in residing together? How does she sit on the board?
Great question.
Okay.
And I do have a question too on that. Christie and Bill, what made you decide to call this meeting today?
You want me to,
No, I mean, did someone ask you to call this meeting? Did someone call and talk to you about it?
so someone called me and said
Who's
there's,
someone?
I'm not gonna disclose
Did Mr. Taylor call you?
No.
Because if I have,
personal information. Someone came to me with a concern. I just knew that there was no appointment. I'd started looking into it, that there was no appointment. And then I just know that there was a concern and that the board needed a full panel to be able to vote.
so did you not care to call me and
So-
ask me?
so I have a
Excuse me, I'm talking. So did you not care to call me and ask me what was going on and if I had, what I was doing before you called an emergent or an urgent meeting? Because special call meetings are for urgent matters.
You called one on parking and to do Natalie Kissel for the DDA.
I've not called
Mayor.
urgent
May
meetings.
21st.
May
So-
21st.
so-
You called
Yeah.
May 21st.
We don't answer.
Angie,
You're
I'm
not
not,
gonna put us, you're not gonna do this. Now, here's the
Angie?
thing. Let me just say,
no,
I'm gonna speak.
I will call this meeting if you, don't speak to me like that. I'm not
You know what,
going to.
you're speaking to them.
I'm
And we're
asking
not
them
going through
questions.
the repeat
I
of
am
last.
no, we are not
No,
going
we're
through a
not.
repeat of that. You are
So now
certainly
you will
right.
respect this council if you won't respect yourself.
Angie,
Do you understand?
You were exactly right.
Okay.
We will both
So do not
respect each
treat
other.
her like she's done something wrong.
I'm asking
because
her
I
a
know
question and
the charter.
I will call this meeting. I will end this meeting.
You don't have authority to end this
Do I have
meeting.
the authority to end this meeting?
She's the presiding
Yes.
officer. and she
This
can adjourn the
meeting is, I'm actually going to end this meeting at this point unless you can get yourself together.
I am together.
Okay.
So you need to,
We'll continue the meeting. Okay. So back to,
May I
Donna,
ask
did
a
you have
question?
anything else?
I'd like to
She
ask
was
Donna a
still-
question since she's the one.
Yes, Jack, go ahead, please.
I'd like to know what my financial interest is.
I'm not saying you're
Because
financial.
I'm dating Tanya and we live together, where's my financial interest? I'm curious as to because you quoted a
It
statute there,
says
actually a very
contractual.
good statute,
It says
because that's gonna fall
contractual.
back. But let me ask you a question.
Okay, well, here's the question. If you want to answer, to ask the first question, I'll ask the first question on this. Why is it that you phoned me, let's see, when was your September meeting, Trevor? Was it September?
It was scheduled for September 14th.
I was called on September the 12th by Jack Taylor,
Mhm.
who told me that he needed to have me, he suggested that I attend the Housing Authority meeting because there was going to be discussion that I needed to hear. What's really funny is that when Laura Sisson showed up at this reschedule of the meeting, she said she got a text, and I think pretty much to her quote was, I got a text that told me I needed to be at this meeting to hear what they were going to say. It was almost identical to what you said, which is what threw the red
So you
flag.
think I text Laura Sisson?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But the thing I want to
So out
know,
of respect
here's
for
the
you,
thing.
I asked you to, I
Philip
thought I said you
Searles.
should attend the meeting.
Philip
And I'm
Searles.
wrong for that?
Okay, one of you speak at a time, please.
Well,
Phyllis,
she asked you, she mentioned something, I just wanted to
Okay.
respond.
You can't
So I'm
listen.
wrong because I invited you. I also called
Jack,
Glenn
let-
Harbison.
Let her finish. So you call people to come to this meeting for what reason? Do you think?
I called
did
people
you
to come
think
to our
that-
meetings.
Did you think that something big was gonna come out about the hates?
No,
Because I have heard
absolutely
that you've been
not.
out spreading rumors and,
And I have heard that from you too, Rhonda.
yeah. So,
So the thing about it is let me make it perfectly clear. I don't care how prosperous you are.
mhm.
I don't care where you make your money. I want you to be prosperous.
Yes.
That's not what
And
this
so
is
do
about.
I you.
That's not what this is about.
What is it about then? Tell me.
It's about the fact that you went out and you're still going out, and we're way off topic. Stop me if you need to, Chuck. You're going out telling people that I'm in the bonding business and I've broken the law. And you were even approached by name
You
that I
are-
called.
You are in the
This is
bonding
way,
business?
this is off topic.
Way off
This is off
topic. So
topic.
Yeah,
the
this
thing
is
is,
all-
I don't
this
care
is-
where you make your money.
This is, see, there you are. Are you saying
Okay.
that you think I'm involved with the Searles Foundation?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying we're all hearing this pretty much on a daily
And I've
basis.
told you, did you ask me?
Yes, I did.
okay.
And what did I
may
say to you?
finish?
You turned around,
Guys,
Rhonda.
guys.
Let's,
Yeah,
I
but
understand,
really,
but we have to get this out in the open
Please.
because it's a problem.
Not today.
I'm willing to have that
Because I'm
conversation
about following
anytime.
the rules and, you know, this is not part of the topic.
So going back to
The
this
the thing that was very
appointment.
confusing to me is I got a note, I got the call to attend the meeting. And he mentioned the Hates and he mentioned the Searles Foundation. And I could not for the life of me understand why anybody is trying to still undermine the Searles Foundation. But after attending the meeting at the Housing Authority, there's a lot of questions there. But the thing that I did not understand was that when he called me on what would have been around September the 12th, because he gave me a 2-day notice to the meeting. He called me on September the 12th, and he told me that they were going to get some information on the Hates and the Searles Foundation. And Tanya in the background said, we'll know if we're going to talk about our future going forward, if we're going to go forward or not with them. And the Searles Foundation, I thought, was like a go right now, but that's their issue. The problem is that when Jack called me on the 12th, he had already had access because Tanya received a memo from Philip Searles on August the 16th. Because when I got off the phone with Jack a couple days later, I called Mr. Searles because I have a good relationship with him, and I asked him if he had any involvement with the Hates. He told me no, and he said, hold on a minute. He came back about 30 seconds later, and he said, you've got 3 emails from me. The first one was the email that was sent to Traver and the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority. And I don't know how you could have been any more clear in the 5 or 6 sentences that Mr. Searles had in that email to say they're not involved, they're not going to be involved, they haven't been involved, past, present, future, they're not involved, not directly or indirectly. So he knew that information when he called me, yet he led me to believe that the Hates were still involved and there were
No,
still
I don't think
issues
that's
with
what
them.
he said. He said you said that there was going to be some discussion, and you were at this last board meeting.
Okay,
It
let
was
her
clear
finish,
that
Tanya.
discussion had nothing to do with the Searles. It
Tanya,
had to do with other
Well,
proposals.
part of the discussion that I listened to, I will tell you that there was no board member there that knew what the policy was on how to refill a position. You included.
What are you talking
You
about?
also, I believe, Donna, if I'm not mistaken, in that same conversation, you're saying I said all this stuff, asked me if I was gonna vote to repeal the decision.
I did.
You did. And what did I tell you, Donna?
You
Did
told me you would.
Did I hem-haw around about it?
No, you
What did I say?
hesitated at first in answering me.
I said yes. No, I didn't. I said yes.
You told me if you found something that the Hates were involved, that you would have
If I
voted
found
to rescind
anything
your.
that was not above
But you knew
board,
at that point by the Searles, what does it take to put it to bed?
I don't know what it's gonna take to put it to bed. But I know that the beginning of this
I mean,
entire
you
thing with the
believe it.
Searles Foundation was gonna be a land swap, was my understanding. I don't care.
That's not even.
I don't even care.
Okay, I think we are definitely getting off topic here. I think we need to get back on topic with this particular appointment and understand that there has been an appointment made already. And yeah, you can appoint who you want to. You can also vote to do away with having pets in Blue Ridge. But does that make any sense? No. So use your common sense when you're voting, because you can do it, but it's going to end up in front of a judge. Yes.
Can I just say, like, someone came to me with a concern and let me know that, hey, the board's not full,
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be full so we can, you know, I guess, take care of business or.
Do you see where I
Take your
feel?
time.
Do you see where I have fulfilled that obligation though? And I did
So
it
the-
within my time?
So and I don't have a problem with you, I don't have a problem with you, we had no
Yeah.
clue that you were doing this, like, we called the meeting because something needed to be taken care of that was brought to our attention that was a concern, and they needed a full board for a vote. So,
What?
but now that I'm sitting here and like, I feel like if there's issues, like, and I had heard it in the past with you being involved in the Searles Foundation, this brings a big red flag to me that it's like you're pushing somebody to be on a board that,
Christie, if
I'm-
you are
I'm just-
accusing,
I'm
no,
just-
no, no, no.
I'm-
If you are accusing me of being
No.
involved, I
I
will.
am not accusing you of anything.
I'm telling you, and you know what concerns me? Is the fact that you guys are trying to push someone on a board.
There was
When
not-
I
there was
have
not
the
an
legal
appointment
right,
there,
when
though.
I have a legal right, because I had not been given official notification, Christie, you should have called the attorney and said, has Rhonda been given official notification? No, she has not. When was I given it? On Saturday. If you look at the Georgia law, as Chuck will tell you, I have 30 days after I receive official
Well,
notification.
why did you call it today, though? That's kind of odd after we called the meeting.
So, how would I know what your meeting's about?
Yeah.
I mean, how would I know?
I
It
get it.
says,
Yeah, I
this
get
is
it.
the
That
most
makes sense.
vague,
Yeah,
this
that
is
makes
the
sense.
most vague
Yeah,
thing in the
yeah.
world.
I get it.
Board appointments, I personally thought you guys were going here to talk about Brian Higgins. Had no idea.
Yeah.
And I made my appointment this morning, and, oh, you went into the bus, Brian?
I
That's
mean,
all right.
and Christie, do you have anything else to say? I mean, so I want to say, the only reason that I'm here is because I also had board members, I have had a board member call me, not just last week, but concerned about some things. I said, look, that ain't no cancel, that's no cancel, this is not up to me, the appointment's not up to us, that's the mayor's appointment, I know that. Last week though, after the meeting, after the meeting, I had a call and was told that the board needed an appointment. And it was the chairman, that the attorney had said, had asked, you know, that he wants an appointment because there's some things, he's